All right, good morning, kindergarten. Today we're going to be working on a different type of project, and the first thing we're going to want to do is use that white pencil to write our name on that piece of black paper and flip it over. Once we're done with that pencil, we need to make sure we've got a few different things at our table. We should have a paper towel. We should have at least one of these leaf stencils that we can share. Obviously, we're going to need that black paper, and today we have a new material. We've got some of these pastels, and we should have enough for each person to choose 3 at a time to work with. These are called chalk pastels, and they're going to make a little bit of a mess. That's why we each have a paper towel so we can wipe our fingers off here. So let's see what we're going to end up doing. Is a thing that you can use to trace around so you can get a lot of different pictures that are all kind of the same looking thing. So here's what we're going to end up doing with our stencil. We're going to be using that stencil, and we're going to have to trace it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. 4 times, and we're going to have to use 4 different colors. I've only got 3 right now to make sure everybody else at my table has choices as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold my stencil with one hand, and I'm going to use my chalk pastel to lightly pull some of that chalk off on the side. And I'm going to zoom in here in just a second so you can kind of see a little bit closer up what exactly is happening with that stencil and that chalk pastel. Now it's a big deal to make sure that I don't move my stencil while I'm doing this. And I want to make sure I go all the way around the edge. Even if our stencil moves a little bit like that, that's okay. Just line it back up, but make sure you don't take it up or move it off the paper. Getting down towards the bottom. The stems might be a little difficult because they're kind of smaller pieces of paper, but do your best to get around them. Now don't do anything yet, because now we're going to have to put that pencil down and we're going to be using our fingers. Now I'm going to zoom back in so you can see what my finger is going to be doing. But all I'm doing is dragging some of that chalk pastel from around the edge of my stencil back out into my black paper. Okay, now my stencil's still down. I've got my chalk pastel pulled off to the sides. I've got some dirty fingers though. Now is a good time to wipe those fingers off on my dry paper towel. And then I'm going to pick this thing up and I'm going to see what's left behind. And we should have that nice kind of bright looking black center where our stencil was, and then all that neat kind of color happening around the outside. Pastel by nature is kind of dirty, and we'll end up with some of these pieces that end up off around the edge of the paper. Those can smear and create kind of a mess, so the easiest way to make sure those things come off your paper nice and clean is to stand your paper up, tap it a few times gently like that, and then we're going to use that paper towel just to wipe it off to the side. We never want to blow chalk dust, pastel chalk dust, and we never want to smear it around with our fingers any more than we have to. So I'm going to switch colors now, and I'm going to put my stencil in a different spot, but I'm going to repeat the exact same process. chalk, stencil, and your white pencil can stay in the middle of the table. We're going to take that paper towel and we're going to put it over in the trash can. And we're also going to have to put this guy over there on the drying rack, and I'll explain why in just a moment. Stella's going to leave a little bit of color on our fingers until we end up washing them off. Now, it doesn't take much to wash those hands clean. In fact, I just ran them under the water. I didn't use soap and a little bit of paper towel because it's extra clean. Never want to touch your face until after you've washed your hands and they come clean. And also, although chalk pastel will wash out of your clothes, you probably don't want to necessarily touch your shirt either. The reason we want to put our projects on the drying rack is because I'm going to spray them after school with some of this stuff, and this is going to help to make sure that chalk doesn't smear and make a bigger mess as we take them home or hang them up in the hallway. And in order to do that, I have to use the kiln room way over there because it has a fan in it. So let me show you that process now. Alright, up there we have our fan, and I spray this stuff after school because it is kind of smelly. After giving it a good shake, I give each one of your projects a good spray, and that just kind of helps to make sure everything stays on there. So you can't really see the spray, and once it dries, you won't be able to tell that I've sprayed it at all, but it keeps all of that chalk from smudging around.